All right, let's get into it. Today, we're talking about a term you're going to be hearing a lot more about, PAX Silica. It signals a massive shift in global tech and really global power. And it all kicks off with one tiny, tiny piece of technology.
So it all starts with this one question, right? How can a product so small you can barely even see it, how can that become the absolute center of a global power struggle? It sounds kind of crazy.
Well, the answer is both super simple and incredibly profound. It's because that little semiconductor chip, that tiny slice of silicon, it's not just another component anymore. It's the engine that runs our entire modern world. I mean, everything from your smartphone to our AI infrastructure, it all depends on this. And here's the kicker. That engine is incredibly vulnerable. The whole global system that we rely on to build and deliver these chips, well, it's on the brink of being completely rewritten. So the big question is, why now? What's happening? It really all comes down to something we can call the global chip chokehold. And to get why the new solution is so important, you first have to understand just how fragile the current system really is. So the weakness in the supply chain isn't just one single point of failure, it's the whole network. I mean, just think about it for a second. You get raw materials from one continent, then they go to another for this incredibly complex design work that requires near atomic precision, and then the final assembly happens somewhere else entirely. This setup creates this critical dependence on just a handful of places, which makes the whole thing unbelievably vulnerable to any kind of geopolitical shock. It's like the very definition of a high-risk system. Okay, so if the system is that critical and that fragile, how do you fix it? How do you de-risk it? Well, that brings us to this new strategic alliance called PAX Silica. And its goal is, well, nothing less than to secure the entire world's technological future. You know, the name itself tells you everything you need to know about how ambitious this is. Pax Romana meant Roman peace, right? It was an era of unprecedented stability. So, Pax Silica, or Silicon Peace, is a US-led initiative that's trying to do the exact same thing, but for the world of technology. The goal is a secure and resilient silicon supply chain that guarantees stability for AI and chips for decades.
And this isn't a solo mission, not at all. It's a strategic coalition of some major tech players, and each one brings a really crucial piece of the puzzle. You've got the United States leading on design, Japan bringing specialized materials and equipment, South Korea is an absolute powerhouse in memory chips, and Singapore is a key hub for making them. But the newest member, and honestly maybe the most game-changing addition, is India.
Yeah, India's inclusion here is a massive deal. It's a pivotal moment. So let's dig into how the world's largest democracy suddenly became a central player in this whole new global tech order. This didn't just happen out of the blue, but there was one key moment, a real milestone that our source material points to. In January 2026, India got the formal invitation to join this initiative. And that single moment really marks the turning point, positioning the country to become a major global alternative to China in this supercritical supply chain.
So why India? What does it bring to the table? Well, it's a really powerful combination of things. You've got a massive pool of engineering talent, a huge domestic market, and as our source notes, a very focused push from the government called the India Semiconductor Mission. On top of all that, it's got access to critical raw materials like silica. And geopolitically, it offers exactly what this alliance is looking for, a stable, large-scale, strategic alternative to China.
Now, this huge geopolitical shift, it's not just theoretical stuff happening in meeting rooms. It's having immediate, real-world consequences, and you can see it playing out very clearly in the Indian stock market.
This quote really captures the change in thinking perfectly. Foreign institutional investors are now viewing India as a secure tech hub, and that's key because money follows security. This new alliance is basically a giant signal to the world that India's tech sector has been seriously de-risked.
And the impact on key Indian companies like Tata Electronics and DAX Technologies, it's been absolutely explosive. We're talking an 18% surge in FII. That's investment from big overseas funds. A staggering 31% growth in their total market value, and a 28% jump in future orders. This isn't just hype, it's a fundamental revaluation of what these companies are worth.
So where's all this growth concentrated? Well, the ripple effect is spreading across several key sectors. Obviously, in semiconductors, you've got names like Tata Electronics just soaring, but also in mining, the companies providing the raw materials, like NMDC, they're critical. And then there's defense and tech, which absolutely depend on secure chips, so players like Bharat Electronics are right at the forefront of all this.
But of course, a move this big, this dramatic, it doesn't come without risks. It's really important to weigh the massive opportunity here against the very real challenges that are waiting on the road ahead.
Yeah, it's a classic balancing act. On one side, the opportunity is huge. We're talking long-term market stability and way less dependence on a shaky supply chain. But the risks are just as big. This whole move could really escalate trade tensions, and that could lead to retaliation on other crucial materials, like rare earths. And let's be clear, building this new supply chain from the ground up, it's going to require a massive, sustained investment for years and years.
So really, here's the bottom line. Pax Silica isn't just some short-term fix or a simple compromise. As our source material concludes, this is a very deliberate attempt to build the actual foundation for the global economy of the 2030s and beyond.
And that leaves us with the ultimate question, doesn't it? We've seen the problem, the proposed solution, and the incredible stakes involved. So will this alliance really bring about an era of silicon peace and tech stability? Or is it the first shot in a new, more intense kind of global conflict? One that's fought not with armies, but with supply chains and silicon chips. The answer to that is going to define the next century.